How did I get my green card while still living in my birth country, Jamaica? How am I get my green card when I still live yard? Stay tuned. Guys, welcome back to Leah Mom in Boots. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Now, before we proceed, let's talk about this hat. So cute, I know, right? So they're made by my younger sister. She does crochet sets. Like, she makes these nice cute hats. She makes swimsuit and everything. I'm gonna leave her information in my description. So please run over to her Instagram page, check her out, order something. You're gonna like it, you ain't gonna regret it. Come on. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah. All right, so today we're going to talk about my consular processing, right? How did I get my green card whilst I was still living in Jamaica? No, my process took 2 years, but it took 2 years because there were some little glitches in between. And that is why I always say, whenever you're doing your documentation, even if you're not using a lawyer or anything, even if you do use a lawyer, you can look over your things because sometimes a simple little mistake can result in them requesting something, and that is what kind of slow up your process. So when I got married in America, I came back to my home country. Um, Before coming back, we submitted our I-130 over there. Now, because I was staying in my home country, the only form I needed to submit was the I-130 for petition for alien relative, and I-824 for affidavit of support, right? Just to show that the person who is petitioning for me is financially able to do it. And when I come to America, I will not be dependent on the country to support me, basically, in a nutshell, right? So we submitted those forms along with a I-131A. You only do that if the person you're filing for is a spouse, and I was a spouse at the time, so we had to submit one of that also. With those USCIS form, we also had to submit supporting documents. I guess anything to show validity of our marriage, right? So our marriage certificate, if we had anything together, if we if I was like on anything for him, like insurance, if I'm on the mortgage, any little thing that can show that, hey, this marriage is solid, etc. The only good thing for me is because I wasn't living in America, um, me proving those things weren't really so important. Probably if I was living there and I'm doing adjustment of status with the person, then yeah, maybe. But for me, I didn't have all those. We had like bank statements, yeah, and little things like in life insurance and those little things, but that was about it. Um, we submitted photographs as well to show like different times of our marriage, etc. And we put all of those together along with a money order because you have to pay for the process, right? Nothing is free. At the time, we paid $530. I think it's a little higher now because it was raised, right? And we submitted all of those to USCIS. First step, right? Um, so whilst in my country waiting on my I-130 to be approved, um, after it was approved, the thing is apparently somehow we must have missed something on the form because we received a I-797. I'll confirm the correct name of that form and put it on the screen so long ago. But we received a notice from the USCIS saying we did not state what we want them to do with our approved I-130. So meaning that we didn't specify if we're doing a consular process or we're doing an adjustment of status. No, consular process is if you're outside of the US, and adjustment of status is if you're inside the US. But I was pretty sure we did that, but apparently they say we didn't. So we had to submit another form, right, to tell them what to do with our approved I-130, right? So we submitted this form, and then that was what took another 8 months because our I-130 was like approved within a year. And then because we submitted what they were to do with the approved I-130, it took, yeah, it took almost 8 more months for them to send it off to NVC, the National Visa Center, because remember, I'm processing this thing in Jamaica. All right. I then received an email from the National Visa Center that they have received my approved I-130, and then I had to create another account with them. So it was like I was finished with USCIS, and now I was working with National Visa Center. So I created my account with them on their platform. They're gonna be a form that you need to fill out. The DS form, DS. Oh my God, my memory's so bad. DS, I'm going to put it right here. This form right here. I had to complete that form, and I think the fee for that form at the time, oh my God, I think it was 300 and something dollars, $325. I think it was $325 or something of the sort, right? And then we also had to also submit another IA2 IA24. I think that's a card. I think that's a card. Oh, there's so many numbers. It's an affidavit of support, which had to be completed by my petitioner. It's almost the same thing like USCI. It's just to show financial status, those kind of little things. We completed those 2 forms. I also had to submit a lot of supporting documents. I had to do a police record. Because I was in the military back in Jamaica, I had to submit a service record. All right. We also had to submit marriage certificate. I think his passport. But they're gonna list some supporting documents that you have to submit, and then you have to upload them. Once everything is uploaded and they're good with the documents uploaded, it will show that it was accepted, etc. And then you just have to wait. Now, after that, I would have received an email that I need to do medical. The thing is, they do medical with Andrews Memorial Hospital. And when I went on Andrews Memorial website to book the US medical, it was like the earliest date was like 3 or 4 months away. It was like 2 days before my actual interview at the US Embassy, right? So on the website, you're gonna fill out a medical form. It's gonna tell you to have at least $30,000 to $70,000 at the time. I think that was on it, right? Because you're gonna be doing like X-ray, blood works, and if you need certain vaccines, you're gonna be getting them if they have them. If they don't have them, then you gotta go outsource, get them, and come back, right? Yeah, after doing my medical, 2 days before my interview, I went to my interview. I have all the documents that you submitted on their platform, and all the they're going to tell you some documents that you need to print and walk with. Have everything, right? You don't want to be going there and you don't have something, and just have everything. Think of it like you're going for a US visa and you have to print those DS forms, and went to my interview. Everyone's interview is different because it's a case-by-case basis. I remember that person's going before me, and I'm telling you, they were so long. Like, the lady be asking them so many questions, right? And I don't know. So for me, I was listening in on those interviews, and I'm like, well, I'm prepared for what they might ask. But when I went to my interview counter, the lady just asked me 2 questions. And then she was like, okay, as soon as we get your medical, you get an email to go and pick up your visa. And I was like, okay, ma'am, thank you. And I just had that big ass envelope that I got that big old envelope that I walk with, and I didn't even open it. But I'm not complaining. I'm grateful. Everything was just smooth for me, and that was how I received my green card. Well, approval for my green card, because you have to go back to US to actually get the physical green card. But that was how I was approved in Jamaica. I got my email to pick up my immigrant visa. I went, pick it up, and I had 6 months in it. So they canceled all the visa that I had in my book prior to getting that immigrant visa. It said cancel without prejudice, so and then I had 6 months to practically leave Jamaica and travel to the United States. But remember, I was still in JDF, so I when they kind of sticky, yeah. So what I did was I went to the United States, did everything that I needed to do there, right? Um, Received my green card in the mail, yeah, and then I had to come back to my country, and I returned back to Jamaica just to complete my contract with JDF and ensure that everything was in good standing before finally leaving to the United States. Bear in mind though, I was back and forth because you can lose your green card. If it shows that you are not living in the United States or you're using your green card as a tourist visa, you can lose your status. But luckily, because of my military status back in Jamaica, I had proof to explain why I'm not really there. And that was what really kind of worked on my path. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, guys, and that was my entire process. How am I get my green card while I'm still live here? How did I get my green card while I was still living in Jamaica? Right? Everyone's situation might be different, but that was just my experience in going through the entire process. But hey, if you have any questions, anything you want me to clear up, anything you want me to talk more on, please remember you can leave a comment. I do read all my comments, every single one of them, even if it's one. I'm going to be reading them and I'm going to be responding if it need a response, right? So stay tuned. I might do a short on my next video. I'm going to talk about how I built my credit while still living in Jamaica. As you know, the United States, credit is everything. What did I do and how did I do it? So that when I came here, my credit was in the 700s. Perfect. Stay tuned to Leah, Mom in Boots. Thank you.